William, hopefully your favorite videographer from Two Hats Publishing. I welcome you to another Two Hats special of community events. Let's look in and see what's really happening.
Okay, can you hear me now? Can you still hear me? Yeah. Okay. We're ready to convene the meeting, monthly meeting of the Alliance Homeless Forum. First of all, we'll start off with introductions, and we ask that you sign the sign sheet so you can get emails that we send out from MDHA and the forum. Ricky Red and myself are co-chair, and we're going to start, since we already know who Ricky is, he just stuck up his hand. We're going to start and go this way.
Good morning, I'm Siobhan. I'm with Metro Dallas Homeless Alliance. You want to introduce yourself? Okay.
Charles Piano. I'm an artist with Stupa Homeless Art Story.
Oh, I'm just the homeless person.
What's your name?
Trisha. Hi, my name is Vicky Clark Marshall, and I'm homeless as well, and my son is out here Clark. Right?
I pass. My name's Ken. I'm homeless out on the street. And I'm here to see what's going on.
My name is Marky Silvers, retired veteran, since then, homeless, also United States Navy.
Hello, I'm Kendrick, everyone. It's my first time being here in a long time, so I haven't actually introduced myself for the first time, but I actually do housing for a veteran, and we actually set up other veteran resources with my company name, DSWVT. So the ultimate goal is, of course, to help homeless veterans, but to help anybody that's homeless. I was previously homeless. I lived in Dallas Life last year for a couple months. It was an experience. So now it's all about giving back to other people. Justin Banner, prison somebody need that help.
Hello, everybody. My name is Christopher Brown. I'm the young force.
Can you speak a little louder?
Sorry about that. My name is Christopher Brown. I'm currently on the streets right now, on and off. I'm homeless man with a plan, I like to say. My uncle is actually David Brown. If anybody who knows who that is, he was police chief. About 2 years ago.
Right.
Yeah, like I'm looking to use my entrepreneurial ambition.
Okay.
I call myself a social entrepreneur, so that's basically like all about me.
All right. Next. Who's ever next?
Diana Romanova with Metro Dallas.
Good morning, I'm Michelle.
I've been homeless for 3 years. I'm looking for a solution.
Okay.
Hi, I'm Suzanne Glover. Today I work for the library. I'm Lisa Lawrence, Office of Homeless Solutions.
Okay. And the lady who just walked in, could you?
I'm Felicia Green. I'm a Veterans Initiative Coordinator at Endeavors, and our name is the By Name List.
The by name list, okay.
We're going to do that. Let's let Robert speak for 4 minutes, and then we'll do the no part session.
Okay.
But after Robert, let me counsel.
Okay, so Robert.
Yeah.
Okay, Robert, you got 4 minutes? And I'm counting.
Yeah, Robert Ceccarelli, how y'all doing? I'm very concerned about the lack of participation from the city, from the citizens about this homeless problem. I had a meeting with, I had spoken in front of DART, and I had 2 city people that were supposed to speak about the bus pass, this kind of bus pass, Monica Hardman and Nadia Hardy. I got stood up. I'm just frustrated what's happening with the homeless solution and with city management about what's going on with the homeless problem. I was at the meeting yesterday with the Citizens Council for Homelessness, and Monica Hardman gave a report about 4 solutions they're going to have to present in front of City Council August 1st. 3 of them they couldn't do because they don't have enough information to present in front of the City Council. The only one that they had ready was these transitional shelters around the city of Dallas. Okay? Now, also talked about beds at the bridge, 50 extra beds. Mr. Madrano, who is a city council member for that district with the bridge, he shot down the 50 beds at the bridge, and he is pro-homeless. He's probably the most liberal person on that city council, and he shot it down immediately. And usually the city council members, whoever they vote for, this person that votes in their own district, they will go for that city council member. So they're going to vote no on these 50 beds at the bridge. And what's going to happen is, these called pop-up shelters or 90 days for these shelters, they're going to vote them down, the city council, because they don't want those people in that district, because homeless people do not vote and they don't contribute to city council's contributions for campaigns. That's what's going on. And I'm just perturbed about the lack of excitement, the lack of interest, the lack of motion from anybody. And so that's what's going on when they go in front of the city council August 1st. And so when they go August 1st, they're going to have nothing on the table. The city council is going to shoot it down eventually on August 20th. And the other 3 has to be permanent supportive housing with the $20 million. They didn't find no buildings. They haven't found any buildings for transitional or rapid rehousing. And the other one is maybe pretty good is they might present money to the owners of these apartments and maybe pay money for utilities, pay money for the first month's rent, okay? Pay money for other extra things so the way the homeless can go in there if they want to. And we got this problem at the bridge. Dr. Woody came to me personally. He's got 150 people at the bridge waiting for housing. They can't get into it because of the vouchers. So what I'm saying to you is it's going to be a hard road. It's been in the paper. The city council does not like the homeless. I really mean that. Maybe 2 people. Eric Wilson, he was a mayor pro tem before he lost the election. He told me only 2 city council members are with the pro-homeless. And we have a problem with the discounted bus pass. 3 times now, the DART has taken away the discounted bus pass from the homeless. I'm still trying to find out why, and this is a big issue. But like I said, I tried to get Monica and Nadia to speak up. They can make an influence because 8 of those 15 members on the DART board come from the city council. They could have made an influence, but they stood me up. And we need participation at these meetings. City council, county commissioners. Then you got 2 homeless commissions, and you got a human needs commission. So many meetings that you can speak up. And you call, this is the phone number, call 214-670-3738. 214-670-3738 to find out about these meetings and speak up, because I'm the only one speaking up in all the meetings. I'm very frustrated right now. 214-670-3738, and that includes people that work for the city who are scared to speak up. I'm fed up with all the city council, city members. They let everyone be homeless, and no one wants to speak up. I'm very serious about this.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Any questions?
Okay, hang on, Art. So in regards to what he's talking about some public outreach meetings that have been scheduled and happening. The next one is July 16th at the Town Hall.
I'm talking about the city council meeting.
Mm-hmm.
That's something different. That's something different about what I was talking about. I'm I'm talking about city council meetings.
So the actual city council meetings.
And the actual human needs meetings, the 2 homeless commission meetings, that's something different that's been going on.
Well, these are the ones that they need to go to.
Well, those are public outreach.
No, there was one here Tuesday.
Yeah, but if they have them all over Dallas.
They do.
it'd be hard.
So we need to talk about this also.
Well, yeah.
Okay.
I wasn't really talking about it.
So this Tuesday is the next one. Okay, so let me back up. The city, in regards to the $20 million, they've created a 4-track solution strategy, and they're presenting this to the community in each district on different nights. And so there was one held here at the library earlier this week, Monday or Tuesday, I think it was Tuesday. But the 4 tracks are, let me make this bigger. Increased shelter capacity, track 1. Track 2 is temporary homeless centers, which is where Robert was talking about the shelter and support services for up to 90 days, the pop-up shelters. Track 3 is master lease and landlord incentive, and track 4 is new developments. So the next meeting, again, is July 16th. There's several meetings scheduled through August 9th. It looks like they're on Tuesdays and Thursdays.
What time?
6:30 to 7. The one on July 16th is from 6 to 7.
Okay, where can we find this on the internet, like you find it, so we can like share with someone else?
I actually got this in an email, but it is on the City of Dallas's webpage. If you go to the Office of Homeless Solutions page, you'll see it there. And it's several meetings. So July 16th is the next one, and then after that, July 17th at the Walnut Hill Rec Center. Okay, West Dallas Multipurpose Center is July 19th. And then, here's one that's close. July 26th is the MLK Center. It's going to be from 6:30 to 7:30. And then the rest are kind of far away. Yes, sir.
Go ahead.
Like I said, go to the Office of Homeless Solutions on the City of Dallas's website.
I'll just make a comment that I went to Tuesday's meeting here. A lot of the information is not specific yet because they're just getting started. And so they've come up with a plan, but there's a lot of specifics in the plan that they really don't have all the information yet. And so basically what they're doing at these meetings is just presenting their plan and getting some feedback from the public. So if that helps anybody with that.
So only how you can get this information, you have to access the city website. It's not really advertised for the citizens to know what's going on.
I've seen it on the news. I've seen it in various places aside from the city's website.
They're just going to go to the meetings and they'll give you all the information.
I'm going to the website, but I was trying to find out for somebody else to know about it.
I don't know how the city is advertising it. Like I said, we received it in an email, and then my city council's person emailed it to me as well. So I'm not sure, other than advertising on newspapers and news, what their other methods of communication is. Why don't we go ahead? Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Now, back to something that Richard was talking about. This is not an entirely new idea, but so that someone should consider trying to organize a voter registration drive, and then people will be voting.
So
you have to be registered.
Okay. I have a question about that. This was exactly what he's saying, because a lot of times you homeless, it's hard to register for anything because you don't have an address.
No, it's not. If you are homeless, you can still register to vote. This past spring, I went to the stoop pod and registered 200 people personally. If you are homeless without a physical address, you just need to put on the voter registration card the intersection closest to where you live and the zip code. You do have to have a mailing address so that they can mail your voter registration card to you. And you can use the bridge or the stoop pod, wherever you receive your mail at. Before your home address, you just need to list the intersection where you live closest to, and that will be the district that you will vote with.
Okay, that's
Hold on one second. Go ahead, ma'am.
Go ahead, ma'am.
You you saying that it's just easy to go to the mail? I right now don't have an address. So I
You don't use
can't
the
get a
bridge?
No.
You don't use the stew pot?
No.
You can use either one of those.
All you have to, for the stew pot, you just need to go and get a stew pot ID. And then the same thing with the bridge. And you can go to either one of those two places to get your mail.
Okay. And see, that's enough information. Like, a lot of people don't even know that.
Well, that's what we're here for. That's what we're
Okay,
here
hold
for.
on one second. The gentleman in the back has to come in.
Just to clarify, it's true that like if you put your mailing address at like a bridge, that's issue that you
Not your mailing address, but the residence address where you're living is the address that they go by for where you're voting at.
Yeah.
So for instance, you could put that you're living at the corner of Malcolm X and Louise Street as your residence address, but you can have your mailing address as somewhere in Oak Cliff. They'll mail the certificate to that address, but
like the actual address is on the voter registration card.
there's two addresses on there. There's a residence and a mailing. So you just want to make sure that you have the addresses in the correct place.
My name's Ken. On that stew pot mailing address, a lot of places don't recognize the stew pot as a mailing address. I've applied for to get my debit card and stuff like that, and they won't send it to the stew pot because it shows on their computer that's not a physical address, physical livable address.
It's not that it doesn't show that it's a physical livable address. What happens is the address is used so many times by our homeless neighbors that some businesses, like Assurance Wireless, for example, are not sure if that is a physical living address. And so sometimes we do have problems with if a bunch of people have sent that particular piece of mail to that address, then the company will think that this is not an actual address, but it is. And so I'll talk with the stew pot to see how we can get some type of waiver or a letter or something to get past that barrier.
Now, can you use the bridge?
The bridge, sir, don't let me use none of their services because you have to, in order to obtain a bridge ID, you have to have a bed ticket showing that you stayed.
No, you don't.
That's not accurate.
That's not true.
That's not accurate.
Not true.
That's not accurate.
I don't have one because of that reason.
So go back to the bridge.
Because I wanted to use it just to go to the Parkland Clinic.
So go back to the bridge, go through the intake process. You have to be willing to sit through intake.
Right.
They'll give you a temporary ID. If you return back again with the same temporary ID, they're gonna ask that you see case management. And once you see case management, then you can get a permanent ID.
That's all pretty easy to do.
Yes.
Okay. I wanted to ask, Rob,
Yeah, but you get a card like that. I used to have one of those.
you said the next, when is the city council gonna
Well, the
vote?
city, they're not meeting in June at all. So
Right.
it'd be the first.
Well, this is June is
August
passed.
1st. Wednesday, August 1st.
You said they're not meeting in,
July.
July. They're on
Okay.
vacation.
August 1st. And that's when Monica's gonna present the information, the human needs, right? In front of the city council.
and are they gonna vote on it
They're
then?
gonna vote in 3 weeks.
3 weeks after that?
Yeah.
Okay, so what I'm gonna try to do is I'm gonna try to get Monica to come in here and talk to us on the next meeting,
Oh, okay.
because
The next meeting, August the 10th,
August
and they
1st.
having this on the
But they
first
won't
time.
have voted yet.
They won't
She will
vote.
just have presented.
she will present it, and then they're gonna take it back to committee or whatever, and then they're gonna read it over, and then they're gonna come back the next 3 weeks and vote on it. So we'll see if we can get Monica to come in here. I can't promise, but we'll see if we can get her to come in here the next meeting, which will be what day in August? August 10th. We'll see if we can get her to come here on August 10th. Now, Shaletra's not doing it. Okay. Now, there was something else I wanted to mention. Oh, we have our executive director here. And we want to get her to come up.
Nope. She's good.
You don't want to do it?
Nope.
Well, that's who our executive director is. Our interim executive director is here, so we have to acknowledge her. Okay. Now, you got your hand up?
Yeah, on a positive note, I came here from Oklahoma a week after Easter. I've been homeless here. I've been homeless around the world, to be honest with you.
Okay.
Not necessarily like away, thought it was very fantastic.
Okay.
Anyway, on a positive note, since I've been here, I've been going to the Soul Church, outside church, and doing other things around Dallas, and try to keep my finger on the pulse of Dallas, and especially the homeless situation, because for some reason I love Dallas. Anyway, in the past 2 months, I've seen a great increase in the congregation of that Soul Church, and a different feel as a whole in the homeless shelters. It's, you know, you can just feel the hearts changing, and I see change coming.
Okay.
You know, on a positive note, you know, so I mean, if we just keep that positive momentum and that positive thought through everything we do. You know, I mean, I know you're frustrated, I can feel you're frustrated. I know, well, I mean, that, you know, we got a mayor race coming up, and what we do is we pray the new mayor that's coming in will be a friend of the homeless and a friend of good change for the world. You know what I mean? So that's things that we can be optimistic about and pray about, and it's going to happen. So, I mean, I know it's going to happen.
All right.
And I like what you're doing. I want you to get later on that. And I have different ideas. I have things I'm working on myself. I've been around the world. I've made millions of dollars in Saudi Arabia and Africa and everything else. I've done a lot. And I see things that I can do, that we can do, that are being done. I'm not going to worry about the council. I'm not going to worry about the mayor or the government. So much. You know, because they must have one back. I'm not going to worry about this. You know, I'm going to worry about what I can do about us, about, you know, these kids that are coming up are phenomenal. They're beautiful. I mean, they're doing so much. These teenagers are bilingual. So I focus on them. I look at them, I encourage them. They're coming up. They'll be the ones running the school.
All right, thank you.
Okay, thank you. I wanted to mention something before Siobhan comes. Siobhan does an outstanding job, and she doesn't get a lot of accolades or whatever, but I want to give her some, because you know what she said, she registered 200 people by herself. So we got to give Siobhan a hand. Siobhan's the person that got the mayor here, the county commissioner here. Siobhan takes people from here to the bridge. Siobhan does a lot of wonderful stuff that she doesn't get a lot of publicity for. So we need to make sure that we show Siobhan that we appreciate what she does. She goes above and beyond Call of Duty. And so we need to give Siobhan some, you know, some what ups, some word ups, whatever we call it. All right, so speaking of Siobhan, she said she wants to do something else. I'm going to get out of her way.
So today I was going to talk about the housing priority list, and we have plenty of time to talk about that and how to get on the list and all of that stuff. But I wanted us to go ahead, since we were already dead smack in the middle of it anyway, and just have our note card session where each person who has some concerns or barriers that they're having a hard time addressing, we can talk about those now. I'll give each person 3 minutes to talk about any concerns, and we can see how we can address those. Like we just assisted her, hopefully, with registering to vote. Okay, I'll talk about that in a second. Yes, sir.
I would like to say a couple things, if you don't mind.
Go ahead, you got 3 minutes.
My name's Ken Stetson. I've been homeless since 2015. I was married for 20 years and I got divorced, and I went through a big bout of depression, and I wanted to have something done about it, so I went to medical care about it. And I didn't think that they would my solution, because they just wanted to give me a bunch of drugs, and I wanted to talk about my problems. And I think, personally, myself, I think Medicare is going about it all wrong, because I want to talk about my problems, but nobody ever wants to listen to me. They're like, you know, I've got 3 different medications for you. Take these, and these make you feel better. I fought depression and won by myself, without drugs and without any therapy, because I needed to get out of it. And now here I'm on old, I'm homeless, and I'm trying to get off the street, but when I make money, child support takes most of it because I'm behind on my child support. And it's like my wheels are spinning, and it's like I'm climbing up that rope, but that when I'm climbing it, it just keeps falling down on me, and I don't have a solution for it. And I don't think drugs is the solution to people's problems. I think talking to somebody is a lot better than going for drugs. Because they told me I was diagnosed with stuff that I know I don't have problems with. You can't diagnose somebody in 5 minutes, and you never met them in your life. And I say we need to look more on actually helping the person than thinking that he's a number. Get him out so you can get somebody else in there. It takes time to get to know a person and talk to them and really know what their problems are than just masking it with drugs. And that's all I have.
Okay, write down this information.
Can I say something in response to?
Let me give him this and then I'll let you talk. There's a place called IPS right here on Main Street that do exactly what you're talking about. Their number is, you can write some more. IPS 214-331-1200.
There's a man over at the Stupot named Andreas Moran that's a professional counselor with Parkland Hospital. And all he does is, he's just someone to talk to. And so that's what he does. He doesn't give you solutions for housing or anything else.
How you say it? How you spell it?
Andreas, it's a Spanish name with, you roll the R, I can't pronounce, but it's Andreas Moran, M-O-R-A-N, Moran. And he works out in the same office as Neil Phillips and Susan Spalding, which is retired now, isn't she?
She just went to another hospital.
Okay, who's taking her?
I don't know.
Anyway, he says
Stupot.
Stupot. Exactly what days over there, I'm not sure. You'd have to check with Metro Care. I'm surprised they didn't suggest that to you. Metro Care
They
didn't.
send me to Lancaster Road because I'm on parole.
Okay, well, Andrews is for anybody, that any Stupot client. I'm surprised they didn't.
I
Metro
went
Care
to
didn't.
Stupot to see Metro Care, but they sent me up on Lancaster Road.
Okay.
Okay. All right, but either way, that's one solution if you want somebody to talk to.
All right, okay, yes ma'am.
Yes, hi.
Hello.
Excuse me, hello.
Could you identify yourself? Who are you?
I'm Pamela. What are you all views about this solution that's going on with the K2? I mean, it's just a comment and I just wanted to answer. I mean, you can answer the best that you can. Other than that, I just want to know. It's just a view. I'm just trying to find out.
I'm not an expert in the matter. I don't pretend to be, but what I can tell you is that it is not safe. And I do know that with the city that the ingredients that make up K2 are not illegal, and so the city is having a hard time convicting people and criminalizing people with it. Even if you're arrested for dealing K2 or smoking K2, it's just like a 24-hour stint and you're back out on the streets again doing the same thing. You're shaking your head. Go for it.
No, it's not. Because I have a friend, she's in jail for them because of the K2.
For selling or smoking?
Selling it.
She probably has some more stuff going on.
She's in there for a long time.
Okay. All right. So I'm not an expert in the matter. I can't answer that one for you, baby.
Now we had a police officer come in here. When was that?
Last summer.
Last year, and talk to the group about the pitfalls of K2. So it's easy to say, just say no. But using K2 doesn't help you out of your homeless situation. No. If you feel like you in an environment that you surrounded by it, see if you can go to one of the facilities and see if you can get some help, because when you're homeless, the frustration and the anxiety or whatever of being homeless can cause people to use drugs to medicate, to try to take their mind off the situation. And what that does is just double down on what the situation is. Now, you shaking your head no, what?
No,
Give us some
I'm
feedback.
just in my own thought.
Oh, okay.
I'll have the police officer or a police officer come back out in the future meeting and speak on it again, because we should continue the education of it. In the green shirt?
Basically, the enriched K2 is all made of all legal stuff, but it's the effects of K2 what makes it illegal, what makes it harmful. I had a friend of mine, 2016, she smoked a blunt K2 and it busted her heart. And there's different stages of it. There's the very light to the very, what they call killing dead. You know, you can smell it and it'll actually put you out.
Right.
And basically, well, see, I have a brother, that's what he deals it and he smokes it. And I have to tell him all the time, and he's getting to the point to where his nervous system is going to shut down because he's locking up, he's seizing up, he's shaking from the effects of K2. And people don't understand. Me having a doctor's degree, I tell them all the time, I'd rather see somebody smoking wet or smoking crack than smoking K2. I mean, it's just my personal opinion, which none of them are good for you. But just the effects of the two compared to this. I've seen people go on K2, just go ballistic and slice people's throat.
Eat them?
I mean, it's a ill effect that's detrimental to anyone that's using it or that's anybody that's around them.
Yeah, now, the thing about drugs like that, I've seen segments on the news where the law enforcement will stop someone, they have that drug, they touch that drug, and then all of a sudden they go out.
Yeah.
So it's really it's a genetically created chemical by chemists, and it's not like something natural. It's going to take you out eventually. Right. No, it comes out of China. It's made in China, right? So anybody can order it. Anybody can order the substance online, and then they ship it to you in a liquid form. And then what happens is, if you look on, they have programs like, I don't know if you heard of Drugs Incorporated. They talk about how they manufacture it. It's a liquid, and you get potpourri and you pour it on there, and then you smoke it. So that's how it's manufactured. And so anybody can order it online from China. What I'm trying to get you. You're not listening. It comes from China. Okay. So the United States government doesn't have jurisdiction on what the Chinese send to America.
What the person finds it morally or ethically all right to invest money in that at the top. That's what I'm saying.
There are people like that.
This is my investment portfolio. I'm going to invest in potpourri.
In a real utopian world, nobody would do that if this was heaven. But this is earth, and people do it, unfortunately. Go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, see, a lot of people forget stuff. But it's been proven on an ongoing basis that people who are addicted to something tend to be malnourished because their money's going for drugs and they're not eating properly. So if we're saying what we'd rather people do, they should eat.
I mean, that sounds like a simple solution, but it's not.
No, it is. But I'm saying we have to educate some of these people. Because I mean, I knew people like this when I was still in school. If they got any money, they were going to buy drugs with it.
Okay.
They weren't thinking about eating.
All right.
I have, I think two. I'm trying to get it down to two. The shelter shuffle, that's what I call it. I became homeless in April due to, I have got injured on my job and I had to wait to get compensated. So they ends up with me and my son, and he's disabled, on the streets. So we had to work with Scottish Rite real closely because of him. And we went to, I called Family Gateway. The social worker at Scottish Rite gave me Family Gateway. We called Family Gateway, and the worker there told us if I spend the night at the Salvation Army, because we was different people's houses, and get that homeless certificate, and come there, then she can help us. And we did just that. When we got there to the Family Gateway that morning, and we stayed there till 2 o'clock. But all while we was there, me, the social worker at Scottish Rite, trying to communicate with the lady there, trying to make sure we have shelter so that he can get his medication, his medical supplies. It didn't happen. Make a long story short, it didn't happen. The worker, everything that she told us she can do, it didn't happen. Or it's finding another place if they cannot house us, or anything like that, or provide transportation to get to those places. It did not happen. I had a big issue with that because we ended up on the streets that night. He was saturated. We could have had to spend that day trying to find other sources of trying to get some housing, and it seemed like they sent you from one place to another.
What's your
That's why I
name?
say the shelter shuffle.
What's your name?
So my name is Vicki Clark Marshall.
Say your first name again.
Vicki
Okay.
Clark Marshall. So now I'm in a situation. Now we got temporary housing. I'm from here, from this hotel to this hotel to try to find. Now I got compensated. I cannot get a place to stay because I got an eviction on me. And when you got an eviction on you, you can't have nowhere to stay because it's hard to find a second place to lease to you. And then again, when I was telling you about the mailing situation, if you don't got no mailing address, I can't even get correspondence to see how much my income is, because I'm just not getting income. So how do you address things like that? What kind of solution do you have for that?
Okay. Who's paying for your hotel? You are?
Yes.
Okay. Go back to Family Gateway, and I'm going to let Family Gateway know that you're coming, because Family Gateway is our hub for families. How old is your son?
He's 17.
When is his birthday?
September the 8th.
Okay.
I got 7.
Is this the only your youngest one?
Yeah, this is my youngest one, because I got an injury, so I'm on my walker, then he in his chair, and they're just degrading to have him as a mother when you can't help your own child. And they special needs. They have them outside, saturated.
When
he had
finish
an infection at the time, he couldn't even get his medication, but Scottish Rite bounced back and forth, and I found out about this Metro Dallas Alliance through Scottish Rite.
Okay.
So a lot of problems I know is people don't have resources. And then when you do get the resources, it's accessing those resources. So that's why I had a big issue with the whole situation. Now we could probably be back in the same situation, because I don't know how long I can keep doing this.
Right.
Because we'll be back on the streets. Do you get what I'm saying? So I'm like going around in circles.
So what should have happened at Family Gate was they should have, if they did not have housing there for that night, they should have referred you to another shelter that did have housing.
She told me to go back to Salvation Army. Did not give me no way to get there or anything. My phone was off. Only thing I could do was get phone calls in. I couldn't take phone calls out.
And she didn't give you any transportation to get back over there? No, she did not.
Okay. And then she emailed me about a couple of weeks later, gonna tell me, let's go back. She gonna tell me, if I don't go back, let me go back to that day. If I don't go back to Salvation Army, she gonna say that I refuse services, so nobody won't help me.
Not necessarily that no one will help you.
That's what she told me. That came out of her mouth.
All right. I can't argue with what happened that day because I wasn't there. Okay. So
that's something right there that burned me real.
Okay, I can't talk about what happened there. So what should have happened, and what I'll make sure that happens moving forward, go back to Family Gateway and explain your situation again. And what should happen is when you get there, if they don't have room for you and there's not room at another shelter, then they will provide you with hotel assistance until there is room in a shelter. So the way the process works is, this is for everybody. If you present at Family Gateway, which is the Continuum of Care's hub for families, if there's no room in the end, so to speak, they will refer you to another shelter that does have room, which is why they told you to go back to the Salvation Army. They are supposed to provide you with some form of transportation to get there. whether it's a bus fare or an Uber ride, whatever the case is, they are supposed to offer you transportation to get to wherever they're referring you to. So I'll make sure that that's happening. Once you're in this other shelter or wherever they've referred you to, they will continue to provide you with case management until you are housed. So I'm asking that you go back to Family Gateway and let's try again. I'm going to talk to the assessment and diversion case manager to make sure that someone is able to assist you.
And I did let the Scottish Rite social worker know, because she had to know what was going on again
Right.
because of my son. And she can vouch, because she talked to the lady as well.
Okay, so what we're gonna try to get you to do, ma'am, is go back to,
I'm gonna go back.
and then we're gonna make sure that you get treated right this time, okay?
Now he's 17, with his birthday being in September. They're going to have to move quickly because you do have to have someone under the age of 18, a child under the age of 18 in your care in order to continue to stay at Family Gateway.
So don't
it's
hesitate.
important, right?
No, I'm not gonna hesitate, but this was one of the big issues.
Well, we got you covered.
I gotta get him covered.
We got you covered. All right, this lady in the back here, hands been up for a minute.
Yeah, so I understand what she's saying in regards to being homeless. My heart goes out to mothers and parents who have children. However, myself, I don't have any children, and it's only myself. I've been in this homeless situation since 2015, and it's like a coalition that's been formed. You know, they take your information, they send you to one shelter, they send you to the next shelter, and they say, oh, we have this type of benefits for you. You know, it's like you go and you get thrown into this pool. Like say for instance, when Section 8 vouchers were handed out, there were criteria that you had to meet and deadlines in order to utilize that voucher in 2015, right? So if, like she said, you have any kind of evictions on your credit, a second chance leasing, or even the work, you know, there are certain things that you have to utilize in order to use that voucher. When the voucher expired, there was like, okay, you have to pay out of pocket. Pay out of pocket, overhead, in regards to, I'm sleeping outside now, you know. In each shelter, they have their own set of rules, regulations, you know. And if a case manager referred, I don't have any children, I don't have STDs, I mean, there's certain benefits and things of that nature or qualifications for people to help. Okay? So it's like, okay, so where does a person, I don't use drugs, you know what I'm saying, I'm not abusing, it's like, okay, you have to accept some type of disability to get help. If they want you to use some type of drug, even if it's K2, I'm not running from the police. And even once you go to, you know, I never owned a home, I want to own a home. You know, it's not, oh, you have to work to get a roommate, okay, just shared housing. You know, boarding homes and things of that nature, you know.
Shared housing, 90 days.
Here's things.
No, she's talking about roommate
Shared
situation.
housing and the license stuff. Yeah, and your money has been taken. And then even to get an apartment complex, even to get an apartment, you know, they fluctuate with the rent. You have people in the office taking your money and changing your contract, you know, in regards to receipts.
Where are you receiving case management?
Well, I have a case manager at the bridge. You know, I've been working with the bridge since 2015. I just recently had a match. You know, the 2015, I stepped in my car. I lost my job, and I stepped in my car, and I started paying for hotel rooms, sleeping in and out of hotel rooms, thousands of dollars per month. And that's for a cheap hotel room, okay? So all of your money is spent in regards to basically sleeping in a hotel room, even to keep clean. You look at me, you never would tell that I'm homeless, because I don't carry myself as such. And I look at it so embarrassing to even be in the category of a homeless person. Because I don't carry myself, and I don't look at myself as a homeless person. But I want to own my own home. I want to have to, sign a contract, a lease contract, and then all of a sudden, things are it's taken from you because you lose your job. And then you have to go to the county and have the county help for assistance. You know, and that's why I look at when people come out and they feed, and they say, oh, I got this type of help. I'm an entrepreneur as well, you know. But I've never just really taken the stage in regards to saying, oh, I'm this person, you know, this is what I'm going through because I opened my mouth about it.
Okay, let me ask you a question, ma'am.
Yes.
What are you looking for now as far as help? What services are you looking for?
You know, I want to be able to own a home.
Okay, well, I mean, immediately now, I understand that, as a long-term, what services are you looking for immediately?
What services are available? Somebody just
Okay,
said-
are you saying that you need shelter? What are you saying?
The thing about it though, sir, the shelters, when you go to a shelter and you stay there and you don't have any like, say for instance, any conflict with the shelter, if you leave there.
Okay, well, where are you staying now, ma'am?
I'm sleeping outside.
Okay, so what we need to do is we need to get you in a shelter or something, Siobhan?
Well, she's receiving case management at the bridge, and so the only, okay, let me start over. So what I'm hearing is, go ahead.
If you're going to the shelter tonight, I can get you a bed. I can speak to a case manager at the bridge, if you're gonna get you a bed for the weekend. But the key to that, you have to link with case management. My case manager at the bridge is wonderful. I have but here's the thing about it, I meet with her on a regular basis because of HUD housing and the things and the fluctuation in the market. You know what I'm saying?
Okay, but ma'am, we're not trying to be disrespectful and cut you off. We're trying to get you an immediate solution for your issue.
So go back to your case manager and ask your case manager about rapid rehousing. Okay.
Ms. Bloom is gonna work with you.
I haven't met, but here's the thing about it, and I checked in with the vet. I'm saying the criteria, like I go there to shower, you know, and if I need to eat, I go there to eat, you know what I'm saying? And the thing about it, I had a mat there, but the car that my dad let me drive to even try to find, like, income to even go to the next step, or even bus passes and things like that, and you got tagged for a ticket, and I lost the mat because I had to move it or it's gonna get towed. It's like.
Okay, well, so we're trying to get you back a mat now, man. Is that what you're saying, Ms. Bloom?
No, I don't have a mat now. I can try, I can.
Okay. Now, she's gonna help you get a mat, ma'am. That'd be the first thing we're trying to do now.
But here's the thing about it though, ma'am. What I'm saying is, I've been through this since 2015 in regards to eradicating.
So she doesn't have, so you don't have any type of disability, so you're not eligible for permanent supportive housing. So ask your case manager about a referral to rapid rehousing, because we do have some rapid rehousing dollars for individuals.
And I've submitted that, like I said, I've been working with her.
What's your name?
My name is Michelle.
Michelle what?
Michelle Thompson.
All right.
Now, do you have a phone number where somebody can reach you?
As long as she has a case manager, I'll figure it out.
Okay, all right. So Siobhan says she's gonna take care of you, ma'am, so we're gonna take care of you, okay?
Miss Lisa gonna help, we're
All
gonna
right.
help you get a mat through the weekend, then we'll work from there.
All right? Now, anybody else gotta say something? Because I got three things I gotta talk about. Okay, I guess not. Okay. First thing I wanna talk about, Operation Care. Y'all may not be familiar with it, or you may not. May or may not, excuse me. Okay, this is the birthday party for Jesus, as Susie calls it. This is the Saturday before Christmas, where they bring in 15,000 homeless people to the Civic Center. Anybody in here ever heard of it, ever been? Okay. Well, you've heard of it? Okay, a couple people heard of it. And can you talk a little bit? You've been there a couple times, right?
Yeah.
So you know about all the people and all the stuff they do, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So what I do is I'm kind of like a spokesperson for them. I go and talk on there when they have their fundraisers, and I want to make sure that you keep that in mind. I know this is July, but this thing happens since only 2 people in here know about it. So we're trying to make sure that everybody knows that this thing goes on, and they're trying to make their organization larger and give more resources to homeless people. So this is Operation Care. This is Susie Jennings. She goes all over the world helping homeless people, and Dallas is where she got started. And so we got to make sure that we, not necessarily support, but attend and take advantage of some of these resources.
What's the event date?
And you have some of those extra flyers?
I'll have some in the future.
Do they take volunteers?
Yes, they do.
You said it's you said it's Saturday before Christmas? Right there. So it's December 15th, from 8:30 to 3, and they normally have you to sign up for this. Then I register.
That's not like,
Okay.
it's not like a suit man. Suit man, you have to sign up.
Okay.
You're
So
familiar with suit
8:30
man,
to
right?
3 on December 15th. You just show up.
Right.
Show up where? At the
Civic
convention center.
Convention center, right across the street over here. You'll see all the crowd.
Get there early.
Get there as early as possible. Because the earlier you get there, because it's gonna be 15,000 people there, literally. So if you don't have nothing to do that Friday night, you got a little, a little sleep bag or something, it don't hurt to stay out there, and because when you get in there, the closer you are to the beginning, the better the stuff you're gonna be. You're gonna be able to pick your size of this, that, and the other. Because they give you shoes, they give you coats. I've been there I volunteered the last 3 years, and when I was homeless, I used to go every year because they give you new stuff. They give you new shoes, new coats, they give you new sleeping bags, they give you new stuff. So if you're still in the situation where you need something, you got to plan for that weekend, and you got to get up early. Okay, all right. Okay, now, second thing I want to talk about is I'm having an issue with finding housing. You were mentioning Section 8 housing choice vouchers. I heard you mention that. Okay. I had a housing choice voucher, and there was a apartment complex in Garland that I wanted to move into. Okay, it says second chance housing. You said that. Well, that means we're not holding your previous rental history against you. Well, see, I don't have that. I passed 2 background checks to get in 2 apartments. I passed a background check to work at El Centro. I passed a background check to buy a firearm. So I'm not on probation. I'm not on parole. I'm not an ex-offender. So I have a housing choice voucher. I've been using it for 3 years. My rent's automatically paid by DHA. That's where I'm currently staying. So I go out there and I pay my $80, and I say, hey, I got it made. I ain't got no issues. They call me back the week after that and say, did you used to live in Atlanta? I say, yeah, 15 years ago. Is that correct, Sharon? Well,
yes.
Yeah, okay. And so, well, you did something in Atlanta. I said, what was it? Oh, we don't have to tell you. I said, what do you mean you don't have to tell me? What are you saying? Why are you saying I'm disqualified and you're not telling me? Where's the document? We don't have to show you a document. So I called legal aid. I'm waiting on legal aid to call me back. I called Inclusive Communities Project, waiting on the Inclusive Communities Project to call me back. And then at 3 o'clock I have an appointment with Fair Housing in Garland. Okay? And the lady said, well, do you have your receipt for where you gave me $8? Yes, I do. So discrimination takes place irregardless of whether you've done something illegal or not. Okay? So I just want you to understand that I don't have these issues. Through the grace of God, I don't have these issues, but they still told me, no, I can't have housing. What you saying?
What about that TV station
I'll look into that. Thank you very much.
Well, one of the news is.
Thank you very much. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Well, that would be great.
Okay. Ma'am?
What happens if you got felonies on your case, and I just got off of probation last year?
A felony is a barrier to a certain
I'm
extent.
Working, and I still don't have enough money for it. Nothing.
Okay, a felony is a barrier. Now, don't. I mean, in this current culture that we're in now, felony is a barrier. But there are places that will take people with felonies, and there are agencies that will get you employment with a felony.
Well, no, I've got employment.
Uh-huh.
I work for the Omni.
Okay.
For the staffing agency over there, but I still don't make enough money.
Okay, so when you're saying you don't make enough money, that means you need a higher paying job or more hours. Which one?
Well, I've got enough right now. It's just that they don't pay
Yeah.
enough for me. That's why I'm still on the streets.
Uh-huh.
Because
Her felony is her
I
barrier.
don't-
Right.
So your felony is your barrier for housing and employment at this point for better employment opportunities.
Yeah.
We do work with some apartments that will work with individuals with felonies. And if your income is not enough, like she mentioned in the back, we do have room share opportunities where we will put two people who do not have enough income in an apartment together, and you guys split the bills. So we do have some programs like that available. Are you receiving case management?
No,
Okay, where are you staying?
I'm staying on the street.
All right, talk to me after this.
Okay? Go ahead.
Well, supposedly, truth is that you are supposed to be allowed a second chance in your life, whether you made mistakes or not. So housing is supposed to provide you with expunging your record, no matter what, so you can begin all over again.
Now, technically speaking,
Well, they do that in.
hold on a
It's
second.
been done.
Technically
It's supposed to be
speaking,
done.
the Fair Credit Act says that after 7 years, something like that has to roll off your credit record. And the Fair Housing Act says that if someone denies you something based on your credit, they have to show you a document that explains why you're denied. So that's why when I go to Fair Housing in Garland, I'm going to present them with that federal law that they're going to have to, they're going to have to investigate and find out what's going on.
We do have expungement activities throughout Dallas with the DA's office, with different churches ongoing. And whenever I know of one, an opportunity, I do bring it here. So again, we encourage you to continue coming to these meetings, because when there are opportunities available, we do share them. If I hear of anything, make sure you sign in, and I'll just shoot that email out to everyone that was here today. If I hear of another event coming up. Okay.
Okay, now, while
I got to do my presentation.
oh, I didn't know you had a presentation.
Go ahead.
No, we're gonna let the lovely Siobhan come on and do her thing again.
So I wanted to talk. Okay, I got you. I wanted to talk a little bit about the housing priority list, and the reason why I wanted to talk about this today is because as we have housing available, and I try to reach out to clients, a lot of you guys I don't have good contact information for. I'm looking for people. Miss Lisa's looking for you guys in the encampments, and we can't find you because we don't have good contact information. So before we leave, I want to make sure I have contact information on anyone who's here today that's on the housing placement list. So what is this housing placement list that we're talking about? So the agency that I work for, Metro Dallas Homeless Alliance, we keep a housing list of homeless clients who are ready to move into housing. And so the list is managed by myself and my staff, and case managers add their clients to the list. As you know, anyone here today can get added to the list as long as you have a case manager. You do not have to have any particular documents other than we do have to verify that you are homeless. And just telling me that you're homeless is not good enough. We do have to physically see that you're homeless, or have a letter from someone saying that you're homeless, et cetera, et cetera. The other thing that's helpful but not a need is a certificate of disability or a disability award letter. And the only reason why that's helpful but not a need is because that determines what level of housing do we put you in. I referred this young lady back here to rapid rehousing. So that's a form of housing that we have. So we have permanent supportive housing, and we have rapid rehousing that we house clients in within the continuum of care. Permanent supportive housing entails that you do have to have a disability and have been homeless for a certain amount of time. Rapid rehousing, you only have to be literally homeless, sleeping on the street, staying in a shelter, et cetera, et cetera. You cannot be staying in any type of housing to qualify for rapid rehousing. So those are the two types of housing opportunities that we have. Some of our housing agencies include Housing Crisis Center, City Square, Family Gateway, Shared Housing. I'm gonna forget somebody. Okay, I forgot some. Say your Endeavors, yes. See, I said I was gonna forget someone. Yes, ma'am. You have a question?
So, rapid rehousing, Paige and I have worked towards rapid rehousing. How soon is this offered to?
Okay, so with rapid rehousing, the client is responsible for identifying their own housing opportunity, and the reason for that is we allow you as the client to find an opportunity, an apartment that you are comfortable with. We don't want to just say, you go over here because you're homeless. We want you to have client choice, find something that you're comfortable with. And the reason for that is because once you are done receiving a subsidy or we're done paying a portion of your rent, that's your apartment. You have to pay that rent moving forward. So we want to make sure that it's something that you're happy with, because if you're not happy with it, you're not going to stay there. Mhm.
So basically, it's up to the client to find that place that would accept the rapidly house and vouchers?
Mm-hmm.
And you have a list, so it's almost kind of like the Section 8 voucher kind of.
Similar, we do have we do not have an official list. We have some apartments that we are working with and that, are okay with working with our demographic. It may not be somewhere that you would want to stay, so we do encourage client choice. But yes, we do have some apartment. So ask your case manager. We send the list out to case managers either on Monday or Tuesday. So your case manager or your case manager supervisor should be receiving a listing of apartments by Tuesday. They should have it.
So I qualify based on my information that I told you.
You have not given me enough information to say yes or no that you qualify for the program. It sounds like you do, but because I don't know enough about you, I cannot say yes, you qualify.
But it's an option that is available to you.
Yes, it may be if you qualify. And like I said, I don't know enough about you to say yes, you qualify for the program. But what I can tell you, to qualify, you have to be literally homeless. They encourage you to have income. So if you are literally homeless and you have income, which is preferred but not required, it is encouraged, then you may qualify. So, yes, ma'am.
So I've been going in this situation for 3 years. I want to go ahead and do a start an organization to help other people from not going down to this path.
Okay, talk with your case manager about it. Yes, ma'am.
You have to have a case manager?
Yes, ma'am.
How you get a case manager?
So when you go back to Family Gateway and you are referred to a housing program, you will be assigned a case manager.
Okay.
But yes, you do have to have a case manager. You can receive case management services at the Bridge. If you are an individual, you can also receive it at City Square. If you're sleeping out unsheltered outside, you can receive case management services at City Square as an individual. If you are a family, though, we do ask that you receive family case management from Family Gateway. And you do not have to be staying at Family Gateway to receive case management from them. Okay. How do I get on the list? Meet with your case manager, express a need for housing, make sure that you have documentation that you are homeless, meaning that you have some letters from either other shelters or businesses that have seen you homeless, and they can verify that you're homeless. Or a street outreach worker can write a letter saying, yes, I know this person and she is homeless. Yes, ma'am.
What about MetroCare? Because I go to MetroCare for my depression is really bad.
Has MetroCare seen you in the homeless situation? Does Ben come to see you?
Right, they wrote down that I'm homeless.
Okay.
But I have a caseworker there.
As long.
Can I get like apartment or something from them? And
MetroCare is one of our housing providers.
With my
employment,
my felonies.
Yes.
And
yes.
Employment.
MetroCare is one of our housing providers. You can receive. They will help you with your felony because they're working with some other guys who have a felony. They will work with you with your felony to find housing. So as long as
right now, I really feel like crying because today.
Don't start crying because I'm emotional.
Well, no, I'm emotional. I've been emotional all week because my sister passed away right on this day.
Okay.
34 years ago. So I mean.
So because you are a MetroCare client, I encourage you to go back to MetroCare and express to them that you are wanting housing, and they'll match you up with a housing case manager as well. Okay. And the housing case manager will be able to get you on the housing priority list. Yes, sir. I'm sorry.
I just have one question. You're talking about the housing. I was on the list when I went through MetroCare.
Okay.
I was on the list for over a year. For housing.
On Dallas Housing Authority's wait list?
Correct. Through the Bridge. This is before I got put on parole and everything.
Okay.
Okay.
So let me stop you right there because we are not Dallas Housing Authority. So we don't have anything to do with their list.
Okay.
So if you were on their list, let's just hope that you are still on it.
No, it might have not been the housing authority, whoever the MetroCare goes through to get housing.
They go through both.
Oh,
But with that being said, I do have a sheet here. If you complete this, we can look it up today and see if you're on our housing list or not, okay?
my only question was, the single men or single women, are they on the low priority?
No.
Do they take care of, like disabled people and children,
Okay.
with children first?
So the way the priority list works, we go by vulnerability. How vulnerable are you to be out in the element? Because if you are homeless, you may be more vulnerable than this family who is, both of them are disabled, but your situation may be more vulnerable than that family. And so we have a priority ranking. I have the matrix here that helps us to determine where you fall on this list, on the priority listing. And so we use a couple of different methods to determine where you fall on the list. One of the things we use is a VIASPADAT, which is just an assessment of you over the past year or so. How have you been? Have you been kicked out of any apartments or things of that nature? But it is an assessment that covers that. Excuse me. We also look to see how long you've been homeless and if you have a disability. Not necessarily what the disability is, but do you have one? So those are things that can determine or that will determine where you are placed on the list. And so the list is broken down from a 1 through 12 type situation. If you are considered a P1 or a priority 1 ranking, that means that you are very, very vulnerable, and we're going to try to house you first. And so then it just goes P2, P3, P4, et cetera, et cetera. We do have some families who may qualify as P1, and so they would be at the top as well. The lady in the back had a question, and then I'll come to you, sir.
Yeah, but basically you just telling him that you have a list, is there a way that you can have a list to look up certain individuals on today?
Yep, that's the plan.
Because like, even with my case, like I said, I've been in this situation since 2015, and each plan or each housing, the documentation you've gone through in the.
Before we leave today, I'll look to see where you are on the list and let you know, okay?
It is so frustrating.
Okay.
It's so frustrating to even have to go through, it's like a cycle, each person is on,
I got you. Yes, sir?
Are there any other shower options besides shower calling?
Are there any other what?
Shower, place to get a shower?
Places to get a shower?
I know those two.
Our calling in the bridge, and then any shelter that you stay at. But if you're not staying at a shelter, those are the only two.
So, Cornerstone definitely provides you with the ability to shower just if there were urgent conduct, but you can ask for the shower.
I'm not familiar with
Cornerstone is like, I can't.
MLK?
It's like MLK and.
Yeah.
Our calling does too.
You can shower.
He said our calling. All right, let me get back because I don't want to miss anything. So another question that I get often once you're added to the list is, when will I get my housing? I cannot say you'll get it tomorrow, today, next week. It's really dependent upon housing stock as it becomes available. So for instance, you may get on the list today, and if we have a lot of things that are, a lot of opportunities available, you may be off the list next week. Or it may take 2 or 3 months. It just depends. It also depends on your individual situation. Like if you were referred to rapid rehousing, it just depends on how long it takes you to find an apartment. Yes, ma'am.
How do you get connected with rapid rehousing? I haven't been able to connect.
So you do have to have a case manager, and your case manager will add you to the housing priority list. And then once you're on the list, you'll be referred to housing, to rapid rehousing programs.
But where do you get your case manager?
They're everywhere. Are you a family or an individual?
Individual.
So you can receive case management at if you are homeless. I'm assuming you are. You can receive case management as an individual at the Bridge or at City Square, Suite 100 at City Square.
Okay.
And you can just walk in. If you're going to City Square, I encourage you to get there pretty early because the list.
They open up at 9.
They do. The list does fill up.
Thank you. I just wasn't sure how to connect.
Okay. Again, there's this list has no relationship to Dallas Housing Authority's list. So if you are on our list, that doesn't mean that you're on DHA's list and vice versa. It's a separate list, so I don't want anyone to confuse the two and think that you are on both lists. Yes, ma'am.
Are you regularly housing?
My office does not provide any housing, any direct services per se. So to answer your question, no.
Okay.
But I am the person who refers you to the housing program. So once your name is on the list, I would then refer you to a rapid rehousing program. Yes, ma'am. One second.
You know, and just like the gentleman in the hat, I want to say what you do is awesome. But to be in a situation where, you know, I'm optimistic. I believe that, you know, there has to be a solution. But when I see them follow up and to be over and over and over again. So it's like, for instance, the lady right here found a mat for me for the weekend. So it's like you get your hopes up and then you get thrown back down. It's like it's like you don't follow up with your appointments in the regard.
If you do not follow
Right.
up, you will get lost in the
Right.
shuffle. So it is your responsibility to stay on top of your appointments.
And let me explain something to you, ma'am. I was homeless. How long was I homeless, Sean? 3
A long
years.
time.
3 years. Okay. Our co-chair was homeless for how long? How long were you homeless?
Off and on for 10 years.
Okay. So you're not talking to, you know, guys who've been in the, you know, we didn't hang with Donald Trump, right? We've been homeless, right? And the way, let me explain to you what you're gonna have to do. The way I got my shelter was I kept coming into these meetings. I didn't have anything else to do. I was homeless. I couldn't get a job. I couldn't get nothing because I didn't have a base of operation. So I kept coming to these meetings for, when was Mr. Gully running it? 5 years ago, 4 years ago? Okay. I've been coming to these meetings every month for 4 or 5 years. Okay. And when I got on the list, it took me a year. I stayed at the Austin Street for about 1.5 years before I was able to get my housing. But when my appointments were scheduled, I made my appointments. Okay. Well, but what I just get through telling you, ma'am, you're not the only one that's been in this situation. So what we do here is we provide the resources. We direct you in the right way. And that's all we can do. Okay? Right. Go ahead.
Can I take a few minutes to show everybody something? I want to show you something. I'm going to erase it. Everybody got this?
Everybody got those numbers? Everybody got those numbers?
For the newcomers, they don't have them.
Oh,
But I can give you two
oh well. So much for those
I want to
numbers.
show everybody something about our.
Excuse us, 1 second.
It ain't coming through. Yeah, try it. Yeah, try it. Yeah, there you go.
Okay, here's where you want to go. And here's where you are. Okay? Now, here's the system. The wind is against you. Okay. Now, this is a sailing term called tacking. What do you do if you're in a sailboat and you want to get here, but the wind is against you? Well, you have to go this way. Okay. Now, you didn't make much progress, did you? But you used the wind to get here. And you still haven't got here yet, but you did make a step in the right direction.
Yeah.
Now, from there, you go down here. Okay. Tacking.
Yeah.
Write that down. Tacking. Tacking. Now, you're working your way toward here. And so you have to navigate the system. From there, you go here. From there, you go here. Eventually, you get here. But it don't happen overnight. So if one agency doesn't work for you, go to another agency.
Right.
If that agency doesn't work, go to another agency. Okay? But you need to put it, one of the main things that case managers do is they ask this very simple question. What is your housing plan? So you need to put together a plan, and the case managers will help you do that, especially case managers at the bridge and places like that, where they are experts. They know a whole lot more than I do. But you keep working toward your goal, and eventually you will get there. Now, you may have to make some stops along the way that you don't particularly want to make, like a shelter or
Your car.
The thing about it is about shared information. So they require your social security number, they require your birth certificate,
Well,
they require your identity.
Right.
And the thing about it is, they can look at, they can look into the system and see where you slept at, and if you don't, you miss a night, then you thrown back down to the bottom again.
Okay, but you may step in the right
I don't know.
direction because you've got your documentation.
Right. But like I said, I was in shelter.
It's not right. You know how many homeless letters and documents that I've had? One thing I would like to suggest is these organizations that have meal tickets and however many times they eat there, they should be able to use that as a form of homelessness. How many times you come to eat that meal ticket? If you're homeless, if you eat dinner there.
So we can't count meal tickets because individuals like Ricky, who is formerly homeless, sometimes eat at the bridge. He's housed. He's been housed for 3 years. But sometimes he'll eat at the bridge. So we can't use meal tickets. But if you do stay in the bridge for one night, that does count as a whole month of homelessness. One night counts as a whole month of homelessness.
And there you go. You learn something new every day. So
That's why you come to these meetings. Thank you. Let me get this lady here because we're running out of time.
Order.
Go ahead.
I just say, in the process in which he stated, if you go from one place to the next, I just take little nuggets from each place so that I can incorporate all of them together to move me out of, I just say this place, I don't really like to use the word homeless, but still I use this place, to move me out of that. So I use little nuggets everywhere I go, and I stay optimistic, and I make a plan to move, even if it's independently, out of that condition.
I want to jump in here right quick. Ma'am, what is that organization that you're in? And can you tell us a little bit about that?
And the information that was given was just wonderfully incredible. And one of the key pieces I took away from it is that, as you all said, until all these organizations come together and work together, these individuals that are just trying to do their best to get off the streets, it is going to continue to be a struggle. Just like this lady was saying, it will continue to be a struggle. We hear the story. I've been in the homeless community working with them for a few years now, and until we can get them to come together, and I say now, those organizations that are refusing to get in with the system to work for the better of those that really need it, it's going to continue to be bits and pieces like this. And people like the young lady and other ones that are homeless, they deserve better than that.
Okay, I'm sorry I had to interrupt. I wanted to find out, what does your organization do?
Right, that's what I was going to say. We do our part to connect individuals to services that are needed, like like Metro Dallas Homeless Alliance, like City Square. I've worked with City Square, I've worked with the Sumo. I've worked with several organizations, so I've made wonderful connections to those organizations. And if it's our organization that has to start that ball rolling, we will, because the Sumo is on board with working with us together, who I've been volunteering, continue to volunteer with them. So it's a collaborative effort of these organizations coming together and realizing that the homeless are not a problem.
Can you come up after the meeting and give us your information, Siobhan, your information, because we need to know who you are. Okay, now our time is limited, so Siobhan, do you have anything else you need to say? Okay.
Oh yes, I'm sorry, I do. If you think, okay, I got you. If you think you're on the housing priority list with our agency, please grab one of these sheets. I'm going to take a little bit of time after the meeting, just a little bit, to find out where you are on the list and make sure we have updated contact information for you. The next thing I did want to mention, because Robert won't let me forget, my DART meeting is scheduled for July 31st. And so at the August meeting, I will have more information on that. That was the earliest that they could see me because of vacations and schedules.
Are you going
Okay.
to Dart by yourself or you need some people?
I'm going by myself, thank you. I got this one.
All right,
Yes, sir.
You can see more of me.
now,
Hold on
yeah,
a second. Go ahead, Robert.
Yeah, well, we talked about this, Siobhan, this is gonna be the fourth time doing it.
But I have explained, let me start at the beginning. I have explained to you guys, I have a comment for you also, Justin, I'm glad you're here. I have explained to you guys from the beginning, when DART started this program, this was just a pilot.
Right.
We were blessed to get it to continue on for 3 times. They did not have to do that. We were blessed to receive that. I am going to DART on the 31st to ask if they are willing to give us another extension or incorporate this into their fair policy change that is going to happen.
Are they gonna have any requirements?
I don't know.
Because you kept on talking about the 200 people.
I don't know.
That's one of the requirements, because roads come short of it.
Well,
Every time.
it was okay that we fell short of the 200. That was just our goal. We just didn't meet it. It wasn't a big deal. One of the problems that we did have with DART was that we didn't have an adequate way to track what each person was purchasing. So even though everyone had purchased the reduced DART ID, there was a challenge in that we didn't know once you had your ID if you purchased 5-day passes or no day passes. We didn't know if you purchased a 31-day pass or not. So we didn't have a mechanism in place. We knew that going into it, so it's not a big deal, but that is something that concerned DART.
Well, is there a mechanism? There isn't a mechanism. How you would never know this in the first place, would you? I mean,
No, that's what I
there's
said.
no way you can find out anyway.
That's what I just said. We knew that going into the situation that we wouldn't be able to get that information. Yes, ma'am.
I would like to connect with you. Do you have a business card on the wall? Can I see you afterwards? I do not.
okay, we got about
Oh,
6.
wait. So for agencies that are here today, if your agency does purchase the DART passes on a monthly basis, etc., in November, the cost will go up to $36 a pack instead of $30. So we have until November. But hopefully by then, we would have had another solution.
I mean, to come into play.
The pack is for agencies
agencies.
again. It's a nonprofit discount that we receive, and there's 10 in a pack.
So this is for agencies, it's not for individuals. What we do have for individuals
Hey,
is,
he's asking me a question.
who's asking you a question?
Will they honor them
Oh.
if you stock up now and the price goes up?
That she could not answer that. That's why I didn't buy a whole lot of them. So she couldn't answer that one. So when I talked to Tina at the end of the month, Tina has a new position. She's a vice president, so I'm hoping that she'll be able to give us the answer to that. So I didn't buy a whole lot. Go ahead, I'm sorry.
No. As far as what I was talking about for you can get a half price discount until when?
You can no longer get it.
Oh, okay. So
The program ended June 30th.
okay. So that's why we're going back to DART and try to get the program reinstated. So,
No. No.
Am I saying the wrong thing?
You are.
Okay.
So this group here received a 50% off DART, or a 50% off discount from DART, so that whenever you bought day passes, you could get 50% off.
Okay,
That's
not
not.
the month pass.
You could get 50% off the monthly pass as well.
That's still going?
No,
Or that's
the
ended?
program the partnership that we had with DART ended as of June 30th.
Right, that's what I was expressing.
Okay.
No more DART monthly pass for half price. That's what I
Through
was.
our agency.
So.
But there are other opportunities that you can take advantage of the discount. Yes, you have to go online to the DART website to see if you qualify for any of the other discounts. So all the programs didn't end, just the partnership that we have with DART, that Metro Dallas Homeless Alliance had.
You said that basically was a pilot program.
It was. Yes.
So that's why you're going back July the 31st to see if you can get that re-going?
I'm going back.
Reinstated?
I'm going back on the 31st to first report on our progress that we made. Yes, Suzanne, to report on our progress that we made from January until now. And then, once we report that, I'm also going to ask if we can be included in the fair policy change that's supposed to take place for 2019. Yes, sir.
Quick question. You said there's two housing lists. If you manage to get yourself, when you X out kind of across the
Nope.
country, if you get yourself on both housing lists?
Nope. I encourage it.
Encourage it. That's the answer.
If you are on the wait list with, or not the wait list, but the wait list with Dallas Housing Authority through Rent Cafe, it's okay to be on the housing priority list with MDHA. Right. So that's and whichever comes first. But I'm going to tell you this: don't turn down housing because you're waiting for something else. Don't ever do that.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
I know y'all about to be done. I didn't know y'all had this going on, but I overheard y'all saying something about keeping up with your appointments and making sure you see a care manager. One thing I can say, like living at the bridge, it is not easy said and done. They only allow like 15 spots a day.
Yep.
And then it's like you got to race to see a care manager. You got to get up in the morning time, go to your locker. You got to wait for somebody to open your locker, then wait for them to come and close.
Right.
About that time, you don't have no room to sit. Like when I was working at one point, you know, it's like me having to go and do that. It's like I may sit up here and take a day off to go see a care manager, but can't see because they only taking 15 people. And here it is, I'm number 16, so I got to take another day off. So guess what? I lost my job.
So I'm going to say this. I used to say this to my job search clients. Being homeless is a full-time job. If you want to get back on the path to self-sufficiency, if you want to receive housing again, being homeless is a full-time job. You have to learn how to work the system, like you showed with that tacking. Yes, like you do with this tacking. If agency number 1 didn't work for you, you go to agency number 2, and you just keep going. You don't give up. It is a full-time job. You at 8 o'clock in the morning, you have to be ready to fight homelessness.
5 o'clock. But that's the thing about it, though, man.
I've heard you. And I hate to cut you out, but it's 12, and if I'm not out, Suzanne will get me.
Right. This is William, hopefully your favorite videographer from Two Hats Publishing. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you like it, please leave comments below, or like, follow, or subscribe to us and get notices of all our videos. We love it, even when you call.